I'm a failure at being a content creator.
Do not want to be an influencer anymore.
I officially feel like a failure as a content creator.
I quit social media full-time, got a 9 to 5.
I feel like I've constantly tried so hard with content and just getting my engagement up on Instagram and TikTok. And
let's talk about why I decided to return to a 9 to 5 job after being a full-time digital content creator.
The dream of being a full-time creator in 2026 has officially hit a wall. And the wreckage, it's all over our feet. If you've been watching these clips lately, you felt it too. The tone has shifted, not from how to grow to how to improve. No, it's shifted to something far darker, something that sounds like a collective, gut-wrenching breakdown.
I just really couldn't be a committed content creator because what do you mean I just sat down and edited this video for 2.5 hours, just gave you the best content of your life, and all y'all gave me was 15 likes and 1 comment, and the comment was my own.
The reality of being a content creator with over 200,000 followers is I'm broke. I go viral literally every single week. Every week. I got like over 8 million views this past month. I have like loyal fans, you know? But I'm just like, yo, I had $101 in my bank account yesterday. Last month, the Creator Fund paid me like $70 because I make a lot of short form videos that aren't over 1 minute long. And I'm gonna keep saying this, like, people are not paying Black creators. I have verified companies and businesses commenting on my videos trying to be relatable and shit. And it's just like, you guys won't pay me. Like, it gets to a point, I'm getting like really frustrated because this has been my career for a while. Like, I used to make a lot more money on social media, and I feel like as my platform grows bigger and bigger, people get this idea that like you must be doing very, very well, like even better than before. And I'm just like, dude, what? Anyway, if you want to literally send me money, because I'm just like, this is so dumb.
I'm a failure at being a content creator. I'm going to share with you why. It's crazy that I can live in a reality where I receive free things every single week, but I also live in a reality where I can't pay my bills. And honestly, sometimes it's very scary to think about the fact that you take so much time and effort to create each piece of content, and the fact that a lot of brands that you're trying to work with want you to work for free all the time. And the problem is the time that you're taking out to create all this content, you could have been doing something else that's actually going to bring you in money. And that's why I feel like a failure, because even though I'm able to land so many opportunities, I can't even pay my bills or sustain myself as a creator. It's crazy.
We are witnessing a mass realization that the gold rush is over. And for many, for so many, the only thing left is a mountain of burnout and a hollow sense of failure. The energy in these rants is haunting. You see people sitting in front of their cameras, the ring light reflecting in their tears, admitting out loud to strangers on the internet that they have nothing left to give. They followed the blueprint. They were told that consistency was the only variable that mattered, that if they just showed up every single day, the algorithm would eventually reward them. But here we are in 2026, and the math has stopped working.
I officially feel like a failure as a content creator, and if you have been watching YouTube since like 2013 or like any time around that, please weigh in. I started my YouTube channel in 2013, and I feel like I'm in the biggest rut I've ever been in with my YouTube channel. I haven't posted in a month, which doesn't seem like that long, but I feel like to me, it's definitely long. I just feel like everyone's attention spans are just getting shorter and shorter by the day, especially with TikTok being so popular and everyone's just watching short form content. Basically, my question to all of the OG YouTube viewers, are you guys still watching YouTube? Or are you solely just on TikTok now because you cannot sit through like a 30-minute vlog? I definitely need to give you guys a little backstory on why I feel like a failure. I vlogged like high school, I vlogged college, I vlogged post-grad, and the best part about YouTube is that it's like home videos, you know, you can always go and watch back, and I guess you can do the same with TikTok, but it's easier to search for something on YouTube. It's more like evergreen content. I also have been posting on that platform the longest, so I just feel like a failure if I quit, because that's kind of like how I got my start and just like my following. As a YouTube viewer myself, I feel like I've noticed that not a lot of people post on YouTube anymore. I also watch YouTube less because now TikTok's a thing. Obviously with the possible TikTok ban, I feel like I can't trust the app fully.
I fully promised myself that I would not come on Instagram anymore and cry, but I just got a message. And honestly, I just want to give up. I feel like I've constantly tried so hard with content and just getting my engagement up on Instagram and TikTok and doing trendy stuff, and it's not working. And I feel like it's affected my confidence so much that like I don't know if I can do it. And I love being an esthetician and I love skincare, but there's so many times when like you hear a brand just tell you that you're not worth it, and then you hear people who are supposed to be like your friends in the industry and stuff tell you that your content is boring and that's why people aren't watching it. And I've tried the hooks, the audios, everything. I'm not doing it right.
Let's talk about why I decided to return to a 9-to-5 job after being a full-time digital content creator. I honestly feel like this is not talked about enough, because I know for so many people, the dream is to leave behind your corporate job, leave behind your 9-to-5, and create content full-time, forever, hopefully. But what about those of us who got to live the dream, but decided to go back? So I recently moved back to the US after living abroad in London for 4.5 years. And while I was there, I was a full-time YouTuber. So I was vlogging about my life abroad and uploading pretty much weekly. Living abroad was an amazing experience, y'all. But after a while, I started to realize, like, I can't talk about this forever. I was starting to feel a bit bored and burnt out from sharing my day-to-day life, because not every day was super interesting. And I started to feel like I was living to make content, you know, like everything had to be content. And with my content being so focused on my personal life and sharing my day-to-day, it became really difficult, y'all, because I wasn't always mentally in the space to create content about my life. Like, I dealt with a lot of challenges while I lived abroad. And if I wasn't in the place to create content, that also meant I wasn't in a place to make money. So it was starting to become an issue. I originally went to London to study for my master's degree and ended up staying way longer than I ever expected. But since the beginning, you know, I had always told myself, if this ever stops making sense, I'm going back to work. I'm going back to a 9-to-5. Okay. I got 2 degrees. And after turning 30, I really just started craving like a stronger sense of stability. I wanted to start contributing to a 401k again. I wanted to start saving money again. Like, now my story is not going to be the same for everyone. People have different niches, right? My niche was my life abroad. And I knew that my life wasn't always going to be that. For some other people, you may never, you know, get burnt out because of maybe the topic that you're focusing on. But because my content was so dependent on my life, I just knew it was like not sustainable for me as a career long term. Now, don't get me wrong, I will always love creating content. I mean, that's why I'm here right now talking to you. But now, since I started my corporate job, I feel so relieved, y'all. It's like a weight is lifted off of my shoulders, because I know that my livelihood is no longer dependent on me creating content. I can actually create content for fun now because I feel like it, because I enjoy it, you know? And I'll be honest, like at one point I had some thoughts swirling around in my head and I'm like, what if people think I'm a failure? What if they think I failed at entrepreneurship? Who cares? Okay. Who cares? It is perfectly okay to pivot. It's okay to change paths. Like, it's okay to do what makes the most sense for you and your life and your goals at that time. So if right now is your time to leave your 9-to-5 and try out self-employment, amazing. If you are currently self-employed and you're starting to feel, you know, stress and pressure and you're thinking, maybe I would feel a lot more at peace if I went back to a 9-to-5, that's okay too. For me, at the end of the day, my peace of mind is the most important thing. And that's what I'm always going to choose first.
I am so irritated and so frustrated. I know I can't be the only one. When you see creators on a live, do know that they are trying their hardest and trying to engage, and it's very difficult to engage with people when you don't talk back. Okay, you don't have to talk back. If the creator asks for drop an emoji or something, do it. So at least they know that you're there. They're not talking to themselves. It's just irritating. And and I know I'm not the only one. I'm talking about the products. I'm moving stuff around, and then TikTok decides, oh, we're going to violate you because you have still pictures. You're not engaging enough. I was talking to people. I was showing products. I was answering questions. I was engaging. And it's just very frustrating when you're doing a live, especially when you're new. And you have people come into the room, they pop in, pop out, or they pop into the room and they just sit there and do nothing. The least you could do is engage with that person. At least helps them. At least they know they're not just talking to themselves. And it's hard to just keep talking to yourself when you have nobody to engage with. And it's just... I'm trying on this app. I'm doing shoppable videos. I'm trying to do content. I'm trying to tell y'all about the products. And some of y'all, I thank you all for the ones who have come in, who have tapped on the screen, who have given gifts. I thank you. But the ones who just sit there and look at me and do nothing, that's irritating. That is truly irritating, because that's like going into a room and nobody talks to you, but you can see the people.
The frustration isn't just about low views. It's about the absolute betrayal of a system that demands everything and guarantees nothing. In these clips, you see the raw psychological cost of tying your self-worth to a digital dashboard. There is a specific kind of grief, a very specific kind, that comes when someone realizes they've spent the last 3 years of their life performing for a line of code that doesn't know they exist.
I went from making $30,000 to $50,000 a month to that dropping to about $1,500 a month. To understand my miracle, you first have to understand my fall. About 8 years ago, I started a family YouTube channel that ended up growing crazy amounts and has grown to almost 2 million subscribers. I made videos with my kids, and to get paid to be a stay-at-home mom and play with my kids was the best job in the entire world. When it was at its peak, we were making upwards of $30,000 to $50,000 a month. And then about 5 years ago, everything changed. My personal life started spiraling out of control. I got a divorce. My ex-husband at the time unknowingly clicked on a link in an email that ended up losing our channel. Somebody took our channel, hacked it, deleted it, started sending our ad money to their bank account. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it is very, very hard to get a hold of anybody on YouTube. They give you an account manager, but that account manager does nothing. I haven't talked to my account manager in probably 2 years. Unless you're in the top tier of YouTube, they really don't give a shit about you. So here I am, newly divorced, and I'm a month and a half into having zero income coming from that channel and having no way of getting my channel back. Luckily, I had some very, very amazing people that are at the top of YouTube that saw a plea of mine on a Facebook group that I was in, and one person in particular offered to help. I won't say his name for privacy reasons. I don't know if he would want me to tell his side of the story, but he runs huge YouTube channels with his family. He is very well known in the YouTube community and one of the kindest people I have ever met. I was able to talk to his people at the head of YouTube and get my channel back. And it ended up being this scam that was like this brand new thing that nobody had ever seen before. And our channel was like one of the first ones that it happened to. So awesome. I finally get my channel back. Everything's restored. Everything looks good. But now the algorithm is not reading any of my videos. Our videos went from getting millions of views to getting a few thousand. And then the kicker, the FTC decides that they want to come out with a law called COPPA. You can look it up if you want to know what that's all about. In a nutshell, anybody that has children in their videos or makes content for children, your ad revenue went from this to this. So not only am I getting no views, I'm getting paid pennies for those views. But me, I'm a fixer. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm going to build something else. I'm going to do something else. I can make this work. My kids just want to do YouTube because they have fun with it anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I've got savings. We're fine. I decided, you know what? It's better if I don't have all my eggs in one basket anyway. I'm going to start trying to build my own social platforms. Diversify, be able to still do that with my kids, get paid a little that I can from YouTube, but still try to get brand deals and different stuff on my Instagram. I even started doing consulting for businesses on how to grow their YouTube channels, just trying to do anything with the knowledge that I had to make money. You guys, I even started gaming. Like I played video games on Twitch for a minute, and then that turned into music, and that was amazing. That was a whole nother journey that I am so grateful for and I loved, but I was literally doing anything I could to make money. And every day I watched my income go like this. And every day I watched my bank accounts go like this. It is a different kind of fear being on your own and knowing that you have to support your children.
Okay, so y'all know I'm always gonna tell y'all the truth. So stop listening to these people telling you to become a full-time content creator. Like, I would never be a content creator full-time because I was self-employed for a long time. And I'm gonna tell you, either in order for that to work out, either you ain't got no responsibilities, you're already rich, or you have a massive fan base. Like, in order for you to really make money off of like not working for nobody, you have to have people that's willing to watch you or people that's willing to buy your stuff. You going viral one time is not sustainable. You have to have the ability to constantly go viral because you have a fan base of people watching your stuff. And whatever you go viral for, or if you ever, you know, get to that point, you have to keep making that type of content. Like, I used to make funny content. So when I started making this talking content, I started losing followers. So I don't think that this is sustainable. Like, I would never tell nobody to quit their job to do no content. Like, this money is not guaranteed. Like, and most of these people who make it in self-employed lanes, they have a crazy fan base of people that's supporting them. I don't care if it's dancing. I don't care if it's owning a business. I don't care if it's content. Like, if you don't have a fan base, it's not going to work. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but I just want to be honest, because don't nobody needs to be quitting their job.
As someone who used to be a social media influencer, here's why I stopped. Also, just as a side note, I didn't just do TikTok. I did Instagram and YouTube as well. You can go check those out, except Instagram because I disabled that. But anyways, there's 3 main reasons why I quit doing social media. And number 1 was the algorithm. Number 2 was the people. And number 3 was simply just because of who I am and who I became. So what a lot of people don't understand about social media is that you want a slow burn when it comes to creating your audience, right? A lot of people are always creating content for that big, huge video, right? And there are certain situations in which that can propel your social media career and really set you up for life. But I would say for the majority of people, what really works best is slowly building that audience and creating buy-in for who you are and what you are trying to do on social media. And unfortunately for me, what happened was I made a few videos that ended up, popping off, getting like 1 million+ views, 1 million+ likes, and got a ton of followers from it. And it really just anchored me down to only creating kind of like a singular kind of content. And if I didn't make any content surrounding that central idea or theme, it really didn't go anywhere. So in other words, I was just making content for it to go nowhere. In other words, like not toward my intended audience. And number 2 is the people. And what I mean by the people is the people in your space of social media in which you would collaborate with or potentially collaborate with. And collaboration is just huge because it helps to grow your audience, create buy-in for, people on your mission with social media. And for me, it was hard to find people to collaborate with because I found that I just had a different view on life and a different personality that a silent majority I felt in the fitness industry didn't have. Like, a lot of people did things off camera that didn't align with the things that they were sharing on social media, right? So like if you're promoting health and wellness, but then, off camera, I see you doing a lot of drugs, you can't stop hitting your nicotine pen, and like doing all this stuff, like it just tells me that, you're promoting something that you don't actually believe in. And that's not someone I want to collaborate with, right? So it was just hard for me to find those people. I did, right? Like I still found people that I felt, aligned with, the content I wanted to create. I did collab with them, and I would still say I'm still in connection with them today. And the last point being like myself and me changing, right? Like it kind of intertwines with number one being the algorithm, because, you know, when I was on social media, right, like I was pretty young. Like I was 19 to 21 when I was kind of at my peak with social media. When I stopped, I was about 24, almost 25. And I changed so much within those years. I had like a lot of serious events happen in my life, and it just really matured me. And so when I wanted to create content on the same social media page that I had from when I was younger, right, it just didn't mesh with any of the people that followed me, because the content I was creating before that wasn't as mature, I guess you could say. And so I just didn't get a lot of buy-in from the people that followed me. And so, yeah, that's why I stopped posting social media. And now I work in corporate. I actually like working my 9 to 5. It's enjoyable, surprisingly. And someday I do wonder, like, will I ever return to social media? And if I do, it won't be in fitness.
I've felt it for years, but last year, at the end of the year, I decided I don't want to be an extraordinary content creator. Like, I don't want to be aspirational. I don't want to have like this amazing, perfect life and showcase it constantly and show like all my amazing travel and just like these major highlights in my life and grow a community based off of that. And I definitely felt the pressure as a Black creator to do that, because I felt like that was the only way that I could grow. I want to build a community that just resonates with my life and also feels similarly about their emerging adult experiences. Like, I want this to be like our public diary. Like, I want to exist and be able to share that. I don't want to have to perform, and I feel like I've constantly felt the pressure to do that. And now that I've like given myself the permission to stop, it is the hardest thing. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's just not as common to see that for Black creators, where they can kind of show up and just share the daily life and build this insane following. So serious question, how can I make that content for you guys in a way that you would want to digest it? Because I want to do that, but I also want to hear in what way would that also be of interest to you?
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you don't have to be a content creator just because everybody around you is trying to be a content creator. We all can't be content creators in this world, okay? Like, this isn't everybody's ministry, and that's okay. Obviously, there's space for a lot of people to come and, you know, really make a big difference in this realm and so forth. But just because there's a lot of people around you doing it doesn't mean that it's for you. I get asked often, like, I would love to do content, but I don't want to do da-da-da-da. Or I would love to do content, but I'm da-da-da-da. Well, don't do it. Plain and simple. Don't do it. It's okay. Like, it's not by force. This content thing is not by force. It is not for everybody. Like, plain and simple. It's not for everybody, boo. And there's nothing wrong with you not creating content. There's nothing wrong with you just being a consumer of content and supporting your friends and stuff like that do content. But like I said, it's not by force. You don't have to do it.
They've sacrificed real-world relationships, hobbies, financial stability, all for a reach that can be throttled in a single update. It's a digital bankruptcy, and the emotional toll is visible in every sob and every shaking hand. The commentary coming out of the creator community right now is a warning. People are admitting that they don't even know who they are anymore without a lens in between them and reality. They spent so much time trying to be authentic for an audience that they lost their actual authenticity. They turned their lives into a product, and now that the product isn't selling, they feel like they have no value as human beings. It's a level of identity crisis that we, as a society, were simply not prepared for. You see the shame in these rants, the embarrassment of having to explain to friends and family that the influencer career was a house of cards. There's a recurring theme, people feeling like they've wasted their best years, looking at peers who took traditional paths and feeling a decade behind, all because they were chasing a viral ghost. And the hustle culture that pushed them into this cage, it's nowhere to be found when the views dry up. It just moves on to the next person willing to burn themselves out for a shot at something that was never promised to them. What's truly brutal about these reactions is the isolation. When you fail at a normal job, you have coworkers, you have a team, you have someone to look at when things fall apart. When you fail as a creator, you're alone, in a room, staring at a screen that tells you you're irrelevant. The clips of people breaking down in their cars, on their bedroom floors, those aren't just moments of weakness. Those are cries for help from a generation that was told they could be anything, only to find out the gates are locked. The platforms in 2026 have become a pay-to-play environment, and the organic dream is dying in real time. These creators are finally realizing, that they are effectively unpaid interns for multi-billion-dollar tech companies. They provide the labor, the creativity, the engagement, but they don't get a seat at the table. Once they burn out, the system just replaces them with a fresh face who hasn't started crying yet. As we watch these people reach their breaking point, it's a sobering reminder of what we might call the creator trap. It's an addiction to validation that eventually starves you out. These clips aren't just about failing at a career, they are about the collapse of a lifestyle that was never sustainable to begin with. The "I'm quitting" videos are the only honest content left, because they finally admit the game is rigged.